Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. This is the 15th episode of MMA Fight Pass. Actually, the second episode of the HammerFist podcast on MMA Fight Pass. I got my co-partner here, Tom, the Anaconda, and we got the king in the house, man. So we're going to have a fun night. So hang around, grab some chips or popcorn. We're going to review the last UFC and a couple of events. Well, actually, there's a lot of MMA that happened this last week. So we're going to review that and then basically talk about UFC future things that are going to be happening, what's in the horizon for the king here, and a lot more. So what do you think about this week? You got to see the UFC this week?
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was really good. Once again, we come across the weight cut issue.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You know, I'm going to go ahead and bring Art in now. Art, what do you think, man? I mean, you're a veteran, man.
We've been talking about this on the last couple podcasts.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of organizations and stuff like that. About this weight cut, man.
You know what? I mean, as far as weight cuts, that's what had me go up in weight class. Yeah. You know, because for me, I was always fighting at 145. But let's be real, I'm 36 now. I've been fighting for 13 years.
Sure.
So I turned pro in 2005. So in 2005, when I was fighting, it was always not a problem to make the weight that I needed to make because I was young. I can even get away with eating some hot dogs and hamburgers if I wanted to, right? But as I got older, and you know what, my head coach, I always hated to admit it, but my head coach, Jorge Reese, would always tell me like, hey, as you're getting older, let's start thinking about either you really have to keep your weight low or let's move up a weight class. But I was more into the mode of like, you know what, no. Because I would look at some 55ers and I'm like, man, these guys are too big. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be the big 145er if I can do it. So I kept fighting. 145. I was on that nice winning streak. And then I got to fight for the Tachi Palace title in 2013. No problem. Got ready for 5 rounds. Made the weight cut, no problem. That was the last time I was able to make 145 safely.
Did you always make weight?
And
I've never had a problem?
To this day, I've always made weight. But there was always problems. But I would always make it on the scale. As far as what I mean by that is, so the last good weight cut I had was 2013, 5 years ago. I was 31?
Yeah.
And so what happened is that my fights after that, I would literally have to drop 15 pounds the week of the fight. So I had 4 days to cut 15 pounds. Now, what sucks about it, and my coach would always tell me like, dude, we need to move up in weight. And I'm like, dude, I got this. I always make weight. I had that ego. I always make weight, which I did, but at what cost, right?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is it'd be like, all right, the week of the fight, you have to lose 15 pounds. And it's crazy because I remember every time in training camp, when I feel like I'm at my peak, I'm weighing 163 pounds.
Ooh, dang.
163, and I'm thinking like, man, I feel great, man. I got all this energy, man. I can't wait.
This is gonna be at 145.
It is at 145. Then I'm thinking like, man, I feel great. Then as I cut the weight, and when the fight starts, this is the thing though. When the fight starts, I'm tired within 2 minutes. I can no longer throw a lot of punches, so I have to go to my different weapons, which is like my clinch game, try to get that takedown. I have to I'm like, I don't like this feeling. So those fights that I lost, those dudes won. Those guys won because the fight is all about who is the best on that day. So regardless of my weight cut, those guys that beat me were the better men that day. But in any loss, you have to go back and say, okay, what needs to change? What needs to improve?
Yeah.
Skill-wise, diet-wise, whatever, right? But it was hard for me to let go that my body is slowing down as far as the metabolism and all that. So finally, when I fought last year, Calderon. When I fought Adam, it was a good opportunity. My manager Isaac Reese mentioned this really good pay to fight at Eagle Mountain, and I was like, dude, let's do it.
Adam Calderon?
Fight
Adam Calderon.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah,
I was watching him.
Yeah, so this was for last year, and so when he did that, I couldn't say no to that cash, right? I was like, nah, dude, this is a good pay. Let's do it. I'm in. My head coach sat me down and said, dude, just promise me this will be their last time at 145, because dude, you're not performing well. And I'm like, dude, it's my last fight. He just told me, I want you to train so hard that you make 145 look like an easy cut. And I train my butt off, but again, I peak at 163. I feel great. I feel fast. I feel strong. And then fight start comes, man, I'm tired like in 3 minutes. So that woke me up. So this weight cut thing is crazy because, you know, Romero's what, 41?
Yeah.
I'm 36. I'm feeling those weight cuts, you know, and then at what cost of the performance, right? So for example, this last fight, I went up in weight class. The dude was bigger than me.
So you went up to 140, 155?
155. So the guy was bigger than me and probably stronger than me. But the thing was I felt good. You know, I was able to take the punches. I was able to punch back. I was able to go from punches to grappling to takedowns. I was able to do the whole thing.
It felt good.
And felt good. Third round came along, I could still throw punches. And so it was that wake-up call that I needed. So for me, 55 is for me, whether the guys are bigger than me or not, because it's
Your
not
body kinda
it's
settled.
Yes, it's not worth the cost anymore. I
Man, I never would have guessed that you were feeling tired in those fights because I've seen all your
I
fights.
know.
dude, it's my
You're
game
a
phase.
cardio machine out there.
Dude, it's the game phase. So you see, the thing is, you're right. Like, since I did train so hard, my hands just feel like really sluggish.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna clinch like a mother.
What keeps you going out there when you're out there and you get tired like that?
Well, what?
Pride.
No. Well, you know what? You know
It
what
looks
is?
like it. Yeah,
No.
it
Well,
looks
what
like
it is
it really
this:
does.
is that as soon as I feel like I'm sluggish, tired, or whatever, my mantra in my head is blaze of glory, blaze of glory, blaze of glory. If you're gonna get knocked out right now, let loose, blaze of glory, blaze of glory. And I'm just like, and I just feel my hands so heavy. I'm just like, you know what, blaze of glory, let's just go in. So I come in hard, clinch, and I feel so strong in that clinch that they're not able to get out. I said, you know what, let's do this. Take down, and I put myself in a position to where I'm able to be strong and look active. Like you said, I don't look like I'm tired, but if you have
look
me,
like you're consistent.
but I'm consistent on what I know I'm able to do. So it's just recognizing, okay, this is what's hurting me. It's like if I would have hurt my leg or something. Okay, I recognize my leg hurts. What else can I do so I don't have to use it? So if my arms were feeling tired, what can I do so that doesn't affect this fight and the guy can't tell that I'm feeling heavy? Then I clinch, and then now I make it into a grappling match. You know what I mean? So it's just my mentality. But yeah, it's my mantra, dude. I
See,
just
and
go, blaze of glory.
that's a veteran, man. It's someone that knows how to make their adjustments in fights. Where you have, like we talked about this before, a lot of the young guys coming in, strong young bucks, you know, and they fight at a panic. These guys fight at a pace, and this way they use their mentality and their experience to utilize their ability. And you take their strengths away to basically win. And that's the difference between a young guy coming up that's on fire and everybody's going to put their money on this guy's going to crush him, that guy's old. But usually what happens?
That's crazy. Talk about experience. Like, if you don't know, I mean, in professional MMA, and for like 5 fights is experience, 10 fights in the cage, I would say, is like a veteran. But man, you got 23 fights?
23
fights is an OG.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And man, like, you've been under the fire in there. I went back today
all
to
your
watch the
fights have been wars, man.
Yeah.
And usually in a lifespan of a fighter, they might have 3 or 4 wars maybe.
Right.
And then they become a highlight and that's it.
Yeah.
But shit, in MMA, and I'm talking boxing,
Right.
you know,
right,
like
right.
the Gaudis and Wards and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
And they might have 3 of them. And after that, God bless their soul, that's it. But man, in MMA, there's so much, I mean, I can't even, given credit's not even due because there's a word that has to be better than that. It's a lot because your whole body it's like being in a marathon, utilizing every tool that you have, but you're there to survive.
Yeah.
You know,
marathon with punches and kicks and elbows.
and that's brutal, man. There's nothing to me that's more exciting than that. You know.
So back to the weight cut just for a minute here. What do you think could be done about the weight cut deal? Like,
Now they're
I've
going to
always-
move it back. And remember,
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
everybody complained,
Yeah.
"Fuck, when are we going to weigh
I mean,
in, dude? We're hungry." You know.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I
a
kind of.
consequence, a certain consequences, or
You know what? I mean, it's the thing is that with the fighter, we with our pride and our ego.
Yeah, you're
we
not
always
gonna say
feel,
no,
We always
right?
feel like we can make the weight. Like even now, if I had to make 40 fights, I'll make it. I'll be dying, but I will make it.
But say your opponent doesn't make the weight. Like I come in and every fighter has this pride. Like you train this whole training camp, and now I come in and I don't make it by even just say a pound or maybe 5 or 10 pounds because you've seen it happen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say no. You know, you're still gonna take the fight most likely.
And I've been in that position.
You have been in that position,
And you're right. I take it.
You'll take the fight. Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm older, I would try to think with more like wisdom. I'll be trying to think more like correctly. Like, okay, no more out of pride. Just do it as a business. Okay, I'm a business. I'm not gonna look at it as like I've already proven that I can fight. I've already proven that I'll fight tough guys. So now it's like if this guy can't make weight, now at my age, I'm like, you know what? Let me look at this as in a business standpoint. All right, is it worth it? Like, should we do it? And then we go from there.
Have you had to make those decisions before?
I mean, not lately as my older age, but when I was
you're
younger.
from the old school days.
I'm from the
around
old
here.
school.
And I know you've been up there in the on the Indian reservation fights, and
Right.
And man, I've seen everything happen on those places. And if we flash back to your beginning fights, like man, it was crazy back there.
Dude, I'll give you an example.
There was tarps around the dressing rooms.
Dude, I'll give you an example as far as like the weight cut thing situation. So in 2007, right? This was 11 years ago. 2007, I'm fighting a guy from New Mexico, right? So I show up to the weigh-ins, some buff Mexican dude from New Mexico, and I'm thinking
that's gonna be the guy.
And I'm thinking like I'm fighting this dude. I didn't know, 2007 I had no video on the guy, nothing. I was just more like, hey, let's fight, right? Now he shows up, and he's 7 pounds over. Yeah. And I was like, man, this was Gladiator Challenge.
Is it the day before weigh-in?
Yeah, day before weigh-ins, Gladiator Challenge, right? And I'm like, dude. And so I'm trying to be like, well, no, he's got to go cut the weight, I'm this
and your
and that.
check's already only like $200 or something.
And the promoter from Gladiator's like, look, this guy's not getting paid a lot. I don't want to take a percentage of his purse. Look, I'm gonna give you a few extra $100 just to take the fight. And so I'm just like, okay, dude. The day of the fight, I remember. I always remember this thought. I remember I walk into cage, and then he walks in second. And I remember when he walked in, I just saw some big old legs. And I was thinking like, this is a big dude. Yeah. So my mentality at that point was like, I don't want that dude on top of me. Whatever I'm gonna do, I do not want that guy to grapple me and get on top of me.
Was this your first fight?
No, I was on fight number.
This is second year.
Okay.
My second year, I was 3-1. So this was like my 5th fight. So as soon as the fight starts, I'm like, I do not want this dude on top of me. Yeah. But I was able to recognize his fighting stance, and I could tell he was nervous, and he just wanted like to hold me just by the way he was kind of standing. And I'm like, oh, I got this. I remember just thinking like in my young, ignorant ways, I'm like, dude, I got this. And I just jabbed his face. He clinched on me. Dude, that was one of the strongest clinches I ever fought in my life. But I just kept thinking, do not let this man get on top of you, because I don't know how I'm gonna get up. We kind of grappled. 46 seconds later, man, he's finished. I started firing off like there's no tomorrow, man. I was like, I want to get out of here already. I just started throwing straight punches, and he just couldn't block them, and he fell. Game over. I win. But it was one of those things where it's like, what could have happened if it was in a more advanced stage? What if this guy was 20 fights deep like me?
And back then we didn't know who was coming out there.
Exactly. But what if it was the same situation? You give me a big guy for the weight class, 20 fights in as me.
Yeah.
Sometimes if we're both kind of equally in skill, that extra weight is gonna make a difference.
That extra weight is huge.
So that's what I'm saying. So.
All right, we're going to take a moment there. We're going to hold it right there. And this is brought to you by Klepper Digital Media. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll be right back with the King. Welcome back to MMA Fight Pass here at the HammerFist podcast. I'm here with the King in the house and the Anaconda, Tom Owens. You know what? We want to special shout out to Spike and Rail, man. These people have really stepped up, gave us an opportunity to be here every Wednesday night. And also, they just stepped up, giving us 15%.
Oh, yeah.
Everything on their menu except for drinks. You come in here live if you want, come and join us. Baptist is in here joining us. And grab something to eat, mention MMA Fight Pass, and we'll give you 15% off your meal. And tell a friend.
Guys, this food is no joke. I've already did a little taste testing here. They got the tri-tip that'll knock your socks off. Ribeye steaks. They got that sirloin steak with the whiskey sauce. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it, man. You want a good salad? They got the salad. Friendly waitresses. It's a good place. Good place.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and do a little bit of recap. Did you get a chance to see this last UFC?
Yes.
Last weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your take on it? I mean, we'll go ahead and start from like the beginning. Everybody, obviously, the wrestler.
CM Punk.
Yeah, CM, man. I mean, to you,
A lot
was
of
that
people-
a work?
a lot of
Do you
people-
think that was a work?
No, I don't think it was a work, but I think it was. I just think it's not. I don't think it was a work.
Predetermined?
No, I don't think. I mean, we all probably kind of knew that CM Punk just
Yeah.
shouldn't be in there, especially not
Yeah.
even at the Super Bowl of. I mean, the Mecca. But it just kind of proves it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Because that dude,
I know.
I don't even think that dude could even get in the main
Honestly,
card at Tachi.
like be
And he
honest.
left with a $500,000 check.
Yeah. Like, man.
Dude, he was
So,
the guy. What's his name? Whitaker didn't walk out with that much.
I mean, fair play to him. I mean,
Yeah.
he took advantage of his fame and wanted to go in there, and I mean, hey, that's
And,
cool.
and
but
the
still.
numbers, I looked at some of the numbers of the people that of the viewing. You know,
Does he
'cause
get that many
They have
views?
him.
Yeah.
He
brings them in?
He had the highest rating when he was fighting.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Anything on fire? Yeah, he.
I guess for the average fan and for the company, they need to make money and everything. But I know, especially coming from someone that fought and then like seeing a guy like you and a lot of these other guys that have worked so hard, and man, that's been your goal. I know. Tell me that hasn't been your goal to get in that
It's-
UFC.
it's every
That's
fighter's
every
goal.
fighter's goal
Every
right
fighter's
there.
goal, yeah.
And you have 23 fights and a lot of wins. Like you have a really good record, and for a guy to get in there with no anything, you know what I mean? And just jumps right in there.
Right.
It's kind of upsetting to me. But I do give him props for going in there because he went in there and got humbled the first time,
Right.
and took a chance to go back in there and got beat again. So I'll give him that. But it does upset me a little bit that guys like you don't get a chance to go in there. You know what I mean?
And what a lot of people, it is about a business. It's not a personal thing because he brings that marketing machine, which is the WWE, with him. And I think that's probably what sold that deal. He gets that crossover fan that wants to see these guys. And I guess that there's another guy making a lot of noise in the WWE that called out that guy,
That wants to get into
that Jackson.
Oh, really?
But he's not going to be fighting the UFC. So
Yeah.
who knows? They do it at Tachi.
What about that football player that just fought on the Contender Series?
I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't get
Yeah,
to
he got a
see
little
Tuesday
knockout.
night.
He's a heavyweight.
There was actually
he did
two of
win?
them, two football
Yeah, he
players.
got a knockout, and they gave him a contract. But what he was telling him was like, I think Dana White kind of learned a little lesson with the CM Punk thing because he even advised this guy to go into some other shows. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him even out here at Tachi.
Probably.
He wants him to get a little experience.
Nice.
But yeah, another fight that was really good was Holly Holm. And that
Yeah,
other
Holly
chick.
Holm. Yeah,
Right.
she had a lot of people had her losing to that big girl.
Hey, Holly Holm was smart.
Oh,
she
she
went out there and showed a whole different game.
Showed her experience, man. She
And
just
the grappling. She put the grappling to use.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing to do, because like the one thing, I mean, everybody has different philosophies on fighting. Everybody, right? Everybody, every instructor, every teacher, every fighter has different philosophies of how they look at the fight. So, for example, like for me, the way I like to look at it is what I thought Holly did. So for me, it's like the greatest fighter in the world does not fight the best if you take him out of his A game,
Yeah.
right? For example, Kobe Cumpington,
Yeah.
on Dos Anjos.
Yeah.
Dos Anjos is his A game is to pressure, kick, punches. He dictates the pace, right?
Yeah.
You're right. He does.
That's his A game. He did it against Perez, did it
Everybody.
against Lawler, everybody. That's
Good
his
control,
A game.
yeah.
Now, you take him out of his A game, which what Kobe did, and was able to do it effectively.
He flipped the script basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you see, the greatest fighter in the world, I feel, does not fight the best in their A game. So if you're able to put them in their B game, then you give yourself a better chance of winning. So I feel that Holly, even though she's known as this world-class boxer,
Yeah.
world-class fighter, former champion, right? She's facing another good striker. So you know what? Hey, this girl here, her A game is striking like me. But you know what? I train in everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch it over and put her on her B game, and let's see how she does.
She could have stood there and struck with her.
And then and after that, it's a
And who knows
toss-up.
what's
It's a
gonna
toss-up. So I feel that Holly did the right thing, took
Yeah.
her out of her A game, forced her to play a B game, and it's like, okay, let's see how well you do in this other MMA styles. And I feel that that was super smart, and that's something that I would have did myself.
Yeah, it was great to see that. Not what the casual fan wants to see, but hey, if you're in that sport, you know you got to do what's good for you. And what about the Colby Covington?
Oh, that was a perfect fight.
I kind
for
of
him.
like him a
That was
little bit, man.
perfect.
I'm not a fan of the trash talk or like, you know what, like when McGregor started
But I
doing
mean,
it
you
all.
sell tickets. People like that
Yeah.
drama stuff.
I actually catch myself though watching those little videos.
Yeah,
and
me
stuff.
too. It's
You know what I
funny.
mean? Like I catch myself. And then when he went in there and fought like that, I was, you know
He
what I mean?
backed it up. And
Yeah, he
people,
backed
that's
it
what
up,
people
man.
love that stuff, man.
He had a good game plan, and he stuck
He
with
did.
it.
I mean, he went and did what he does best, wrestle, and then took the edge off.
But you see, it's all about taking a great fighter out of their A game. For example, he did not fight Damian Maia that way.
No, it was completely different.
Exactly, because he knows that Damian Maia's A game would have been, yes, pressure me and let's get this to the ground, right? And then it would have been a totally different game. Kobe said no. Okay, what's his A game? He wants to take it down to the ground. You know what? We're gonna keep this thing standing. I'll keep my distance and let's see what he can do with it. So you see, then when he fought Dos Anjos, he did the same thing. So for me, that's a smart way to do it. To have a long career it's not about, like, for example, like me. I'm not here to prove I'm a better striker. I'm not here to prove I'm a better grappler. I'm not here to prove I'm a better wrestler, nothing. I'm here to prove I'm a better fighter. So if I'm facing another good striker and he wants to keep it standing, then you know what? I'm gonna take that thing to the ground. If he does not allow me to take it to the ground, at least I train and stand up to where I'm not gonna be lost. So as I'm older now, there's no need for me to be in wars unless I'm put in the war.
Yeah.
So if I can take someone out of their A game, I will. If I'm not able to, then we go to war. But what I'm saying is that my mentality is you take their fighter out of their A game, force them to play their B game. And that's what Kobe's doing. He's fighting guys and taking them to their B game. And he trains in all this stuff and feels confident that he's been able to execute. So I think that's smart. As much as I hate
that
trash, that's smart.
that was awesome. He did exactly. That was like the blueprint of that fight was perfect. I mean, whatever happens afterwards, I mean, him and Woodley, I think that's going to be a good fight. A lot of people are going to want to see that fight.
What do you think about that? You think
Well, both wrestlers. So,
But at the same time, now I'm respecting Kobe's IQ. So
Yeah.
now I'm
Yep.
sure he's
That
gonna
brought it
have.
up.
Now he's gonna look at it and be like, okay, what's this man's A game against my style?
Yeah.
Based on what my tools, how do I get this man out of his A game? Because there's different styles, different fighters,
True.
but him being honest with himself and saying, okay, with my skills, what is the best thing I can do to take this man out of his A game? And that's what I think he's gonna be working on. Now I'm curious on how you'll do it. But you know what, Tyrone, he's the same way. He's a smart man.
smart.
He's got
Very
real
smart.
IQ. So I'm kind of
Methodical
curious.
man.
So it might be one of
That's
those.
gonna be a good
so
fight,
it
right?
might be. Should
Yeah.
be good on paper, but it could be
Yeah.
one of those boring fights because they're so technical on.
They can block each other up.
kind of
kinda
be
like-
like Wonder Boy in him. Huh?
Exactly, exactly.
Too much
So we'll see.
respect. They don't know who wants to commit.
Be ready for plenty of TMZ videos.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Might even
Right.
see some Kardashians pop up.
Did
in
you
there
get
or
to
something.
see any of the prelim stuff?
Nope, I did not see the prelims.
I got to see some of it. Claudia.
I did see
Padilla
Evans get knocked out.
And
Rashad Evans got knocked out pretty bad. I saw that.
yeah, I didn't
yeah,
get to
yeah.
see that part, but I seen the Claudia Cadilla and then the Cookie Monster.
There was controversy with that one.
Yeah, I think what's her Carlin?
Think it
She
should've went the
could have
other way?
won that fight. Yeah, could have won that fight. At the beginning, didn't look like that, but she turned it around, man. Started working a ground game and the ground and pound and stuff like that. I think she did enough to win that fight on that. What about? Did you get to see anything on the Fight Pass?
No, I didn't. The main thing I wanted to see was the main event with Yoel Romero, especially after
Yeah.
the weight thing.
Yeah.
Because what's interesting to me is they said he showed up that week like 207. So, and that's 185, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
he showed
yeah.
up that week at 207. So, what do you think about that? And he's fighting at 185. That's a pretty dramatic cut, right?
Heck yeah.
23 pounds.
Heck
Right?
yeah.
That's
I mean,
23 pounds.
15 for me is hard.
And
That's a
to
big
not
dude,
be
too.
able, they gave him the hour to make the weight. So I mean, people were saying he was groaning with every step. So
Yeah,
you tell me I've never had to cut weight or anything, so I don't know what that feels like to be there.
It's tough.
But for him to be at that, that took a lot out of him, don't you think, the next day?
Oh, heck yeah.
It looked like he was just not even moving until he had to in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? He was
Yeah.
really just like,
No,
you could tell he was conservative.
It's a crazy shock to the body. My first fight in Bellator, I fought this guy from the LA area, right? So I made the weight. That was a hard cut. I felt like that the same way where I barely got on the scale, but you're trying to keep your game face like nothing hurts, right? So I get on the scale, I'm like, dude, nothing hurts. I remember I went to the car and my stomach just hurt, and because like once I could just like fake, like I don't have to fake it no more,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't have to like keep
Once
this
you get
game
along
face.
with yourself.
Man, once I got in the car, I'm like this, right? And I went home, and I remember when I was at home, I was telling my buddies that were there, I was like, hey, I'm gonna take a nap. And I'll tell my brother, I'm like, dude, I am exhausted. I'm like, dude, I need you to wake me up every 2 hours to eat.
Yeah.
Because, man, I need to get some strength back. And my brother's like, all right. Dude, I would crash out. I'd force myself to eat. I'd crash out. The next day, I couldn't even do a push-up, bro.
Oh, man.
So anyways, but like I said, that dude deserved to win because he did what he needed to do for that day. So no excuses. He won. He was the better man that day. What I'm just trying to say for the youngsters that are listening is just that I'm just telling you my stories behind the scenes. Maybe I would have still lost if I was great, if I was feeling good. So I don't want to take the victories away from those guys. I'm just telling you, like, for that day, those men, yes, they were the better fighters. But I'm just want to explain to the young guys that what I had to go through. So my mentality was like, all right, look, I'm going to teach my ass a lesson. I'm going to get my ass in there and fight. Same thing, man. I was like, man, I can't even do a push-up. You're trying to keep your game face on. And I'm just like, man, the one thing I did learn about myself is that it's hard for people to still finish me. For as weak as I was, if there's any positive thing I took out of it was like, hey, well, at least I'm hard to finish.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's hard for me to get finished. Because that dude had a guy on one arm, and he couldn't finish me. But he was the better fighter that day. I still want to express that. I don't want to take it. He was a better man that day. He deserved to win, and maybe he would have won anyways. But for that day, yes, he was a better man.
Yeah,
but like
it's
I said,
good that you acknowledge that. You
yeah,
know?
but for like, so I don't want to say like, oh, I would have kicked his ass. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to say none of that.
Too many people make excuses.
Yeah,
Too
so
many
I don't want to
people
say
make
none of that. I could have probably still lost, but the point was, the facts were, that day he was the better man, and I want to make sure that that's acknowledged. But for the young guys that are listening, I'm just telling you like how bad the weight cuts can get. And after that, it was like, and I still didn't learn my lesson. I still went to 45s 3 more times, you know what I mean? But every time it was just hard, and then finally I had to just acknowledge like, yo, I'm 36 years old. If I'm gonna fight, I'm not fighting for $1 million.
How many years have you been fighting, you said?
Professionally in 2005, so 13 years.
So how old were you on your first fight?
My first fight, I turned pro, I was 24.
24. There's something I wanted to ask you, and because I have a lot of a lot of friends like Baptist here, and other guys like Uni Valencia we had on the show last week, and because I saw your whole fighting career, you know what I mean? I was around with Sergio and all those guys, so I've pretty much seen you guys, you know, the whole career. And like your first, I'll say like 5 or 6 fights, like you were just like any other local. You had a good start, a really good start. You're going in there and scrapping it up, and you took some wins and some losses. And then I seen like I don't know exactly what it was. That's why I want to ask you, because there was a point, I think it was after you fought Chad Mendez. Okay, you took a loss from that, but you came back and won like 7 fights straight wins.
Yeah.
So what happened right there? Like I said, a lot of guys after a loss like that, because you had all eyes on you. You know what I mean? If you won that Chad Mendez fight, there's a good chance to go to WC or UFC.
Exactly, and that's what we're fighting for.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, after a loss like that, they go into a dark hole and they question themselves, and it doesn't work out after that. But you came back and went on a real good tear. So did you change camps, or what did you do? What happened there?
No, so during that time, and big credit to my head coach Jorge Reese. He had to get me out of those dark places. He was always there encouraging me, always getting my mind right. So basically what happened was after the Chad fight, it was a wake-up call, like damn, I cannot defend a takedown to save my life. I mean, even if I knew how to defend a takedown, Chad probably going to get the takedown anyways. But the point was, for me to learn my lesson, you need to bring like this high-level wrestler to teach me a lesson. Because for like, before Jorge became my head coach, he was one of the wrestling coaches at Buhawe. back in the Buhawe crew where it was the Evangelista
Jasper,
brothers.
With Billy and George.
Yeah, Isaac De Jesus, Reedy, all these, LeVar, all the guys. So anyways, he would always tell me like, yo, Art. He would always tell me like, yo, Art, man, like, you're really good. Dude, if you just got wrestling, bro, you'd be hard to beat. If you had some wrestling, you'd be hard to beat. I'm like, yeah. I was thinking, I can brawl and sprawl on anybody. Yeah. On that Chad fight, it was like a wake-up call. Like, that dude, once that dude was on top of me, he was...
Was it a whole different level?
Dude, like, looking back on it, that dude felt like a rock, man. I'm like, this guy does not budge. And again, you know, I mean, look, you know, we went on 3 rounds. I lost. But anyways, after that, it was like, okay, what do I need to do that is going to give me a chance to beat any style? My goal is to be able to fight against any style. So my coach said, dude, we got to wrestle. I got humbled quick. He sent me to a high school to go wrestle these kids, right?
Yeah.
These guys were beating me up every day in wrestling, right? But every day my coach would have to encourage me to be like, look, dude, we all know that if this was a real fight, you'd probably choke them out when they shoot on you, right? But dude, this ain't what it's about. This is what they do. These kids have been wrestling since they were kids. Now they're just teenagers. Just let the ego go. So man, I was just wrestling.
Is this over at Fresno?
Fresno High.
Okay.
So I would just wrestle with these high school kids. Wrestle. I got so good at it where people eventually thought I was a wrestler because I would always shoot for takedown. But you know, it's just like a new toy. You get a new toy, it works. Yep. You want to use it all the time. But anyways, what it was getting the wrestling in line, and then we got the wrestling in line, and then my head coach, he said, "You look, no ego. I can't teach you everything." So the goal was, you get yourself a boxing coach. That's all he knows. You get yourself a jiu-jitsu coach. That's all he knows. Muay Thai coach. That's all he knows. Then he said, then what you're going to do is you're going to train with pure boxers. You're going to train with pure jiu-jitsu guys, pure Muay Thai guys. Then it's going to be our job when we get together to put it together in an MMA fight. So an example, if you face a good striker, it won't matter because you've been facing good boxers. So now you're closing the gap. So for example, to answer your question, I'm trying to answer not as more clearly. I just want to. It's just so much good information. But what it is that, for example, when I go to jiu-jitsu, when I go against those jiu-jitsu guys, that's all they do. When I'm at boxing, they're at jiu-jitsu. When I'm at Muay Thai, they're at jiu-jitsu. When I'm at jiu-jitsu, they're at jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
When I'm at wrestling, they're at jiu-jitsu. Now I'm going at it with these black belts, these brown belts, and we're going at it. Now these guys are better than me in this discipline. Same thing in boxing. When I'm at Muay Thai, they're at boxing. When I'm at jiu-jitsu, they're at boxing. When I'm at wrestling, they're at boxing. When I'm at boxing, they're at boxing. Now the thing is, for me, my goal is not to be the greatest boxer of all time, not to be the greatest jiu-jitsu fighter of all time. My goal is, every time I'm in these disciplines, is to close the gap. These boxers are high level there. I want to just close the gap. So then when I get into the cage, any style that this guy gives me, I'm able to say, look, I face a great striker. I face great grapplers. Now can they face a good, well-rounded fighter? So that's my goal. Now look, you could never predict the fight, that chaos of a fight, anything could happen. But what my job is to raise up my percentage of winning. And the way I do that is, since I do have a full-time job, I don't have the luxury of training, with full-time. I said, how can I get closer to closing that gap? And that's when I train with great fighters who are great at their discipline. Because you could put that great jiu-jitsu guy in a cage with me, and I'm gonna take him out of that A game and force him to stand with me, and then I win, right? Or the percentages are higher for me to win. So what I'm saying is, so that's when I got on that winning streak. That's what I did. I was working with my boxing coach, jiu-jitsu coach, strength conditioning coach, everyone that was a master at their discipline, and I would spar with the boxers. I would grapple with the jiu-jitsu guys. Then we'd put it all together, like at the end of the week. Then I would spar MMA. We kind of put it together. That was the job. Then I was on this long winning streak. And they were like, I'm fighting
throughout that 7-fight winning streak. How long was that? A year? 2 years?
About 3 years.
3 years.
So if you look at those fights that I fought, any style you gave me, I was able to win. When I fought Alexander Crispin, jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yep, and a good one. I went and trained with him.
Yes, very good.
In jiu-jitsu, he's really good.
And I was able to take him out of his A game. I kept the fight standing. When we went to the ground, when he took me down, when we went to the ground and we were in his A game, since I trained with black belts, I trained with jiu-jitsu guys, I never felt panic, I never felt lost. So when we scrambled, I was never feeling like, oh my gosh, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, what am I gonna do? I was like, dude, I've been here before, and I was able to get out of it, and now we're back to having him on his B game.
Who were you rolling with for jiu-jitsu for that fight?
I roll at Pacific Martial Arts. So
okay, with Matt Smith.
So Matt Smith, you got Dennis Abrego, black belt, Eduardo Crema, black belt, and then and there's just a lot of colors out there. You got purple belts, blue belts, and so I'm able to grapple with those guys. And my main jiu-jitsu coach is Dennis Abrego, jiu-jitsu black belt, and so that's what I did for that winning streak. So then when I fought Brad McDonald, a brawler, strong kid, I take him out of that A game and I went for a takedown, And then when I fought Sergio Cortez, another guy that's
real tough brawler.
That's the really tough brawler, I take him down. And then you got me somebody like
and Josh Herrick too.
And Josh Herrick.
Josh Herrick, that's another tough cat right there.
Yeah, and so then when I went on that long winning streak and I was able to get a title shot against Casero, right? This guy was 7-0 with 7 finishes. Tough dude. But I knew he was coming from a good grappling school with Dave Terrell. So my goal was, I'm gonna keep it standing. And I was able to keep it standing. So that's what I'm saying is, so I try to figure out what their A game is and force them to play a B game. And if they force me off my game, then at least I've been training with guys from all those disciplines that I feel confident that no matter where I'm at, I'm not lost. I may still lose a fight, but I'm not gonna be lost in a position where it's like, what do I do from here? What do I do from here? It's like, no.
Not gonna panic.
I'm not gonna panic. So that's how the winning streak happened. My head coach got with the other coaches who were great at their discipline. We put it together, and I was able to just get closer to closing the gap on each of those disciplines. So when I put it together, I don't feel like I'm lost anywhere. I don't feel like I'm lost. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't take this guy down. How do I defend these punches? Like, no, it's like, no, I've been here before. I could defend these punches. Or, hey, this guy just took me down. What do I do? Hey, I've done jiu-jitsu. I know how to do my thing. So I was always comfortable. So hope that answers your question right.
We're good.
Thank you.
You want to go ahead?
For the fan here.
Oh, okay. There we go. We got a
Question for the fan,
If
yeah.
you got any questions for the fighters or the host, they have a question for the fighter. All right. The question comes from Steve Diane Barola. First of all, the first question, there's 2 questions. What club are you from? And what is the difference between jiu-jitsu and sambo locks? Go for it, Art.
Sambo locks?
All right. I do my jiu-jitsu at Pacific Martial Arts in Fresno. We have various locations. The one that I train at the headquarters one, which is on Shaw and Blackstone inside the Fitness Republic. So I train there. As far as for jiu-jitsu and the sambo, jiu-jitsu is coming from Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and you got sambo being more of like a Russian art, but they're both grappling arts, as you would say. Judo is a grappling art, wrestling is a grappling art. So sambo is more of a Russian grappling art, a very good one as well.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and come right back. Shout out to Bellator MMA. We pay some bills here, and we'll be right back. Thanks. MMA Fight Pass here at the HammerFist podcast. We got obviously the Kings in the house, man. A lot of wealth of knowledge, man, experience, a lot of good stories and everything. And the chapters aren't over yet. We're gonna hear a little bit more. But joining us now in house is John the Baptist. He just fought this last week at 559 Fights, and if I say unfortunately things happen, we're gonna give him an opportunity to tell us a little bit about it. What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
Tell us about that fight this weekend, bud.
Fight was great for a minute and 30 seconds till I took a nice shin kick to the nuts. First time I got to actually experience that with a steel cup on, fuck, laid me out. Felt pretty intense feeling there. Couldn't move, and I know exactly what every other fighter goes through when they get hit in the nuts like that, and what they're feeling when the crowd boos them on one side, and the crowd that actually saw what happened is on the other side. They're like, no, they're arguing around, but all I could do was just hold my stomach. But
You're not gonna plan any kids in the future?
nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. 39, I'm cool. I got Enzo as it
Then
is.
you're
He was my
good.
pup, so we're good. We're good. But it's the first time fighting since, well, actually, I took one in April. And as you guys were talking about weight cuts, I was supposed to fight at 205. I was going to make my pro debut. Actually, I can't even remember against who now, because they switched my fighter up like 4 times.
Yeah.
And then finally they decided, hey, at a Wednesday before the weigh-ins were on a Friday, I was already 208 at the doctor's office when I did my medicals and everything. So I was already on weight. Like all I had to do was just miss breakfast and 205 easily.
Wow.
I showed up to the doctor's office, did my physical, so I knew exactly how much I was weighing. That night, it was Wednesday night, I get called up and they're telling me, hey, your fighter fell off. He's not going to fight. Do you want to take it? You want to take a fight? I'm like, man, I'm already halfway here. You know, I need to pay bills. Things got to get done. So they said, if you want to still come up here, we'll cover your gas, your hotel, but we got a guy here at 185. How much can you drop? Now, you guys already know, I used to be a chubby. I mean, I was back in 2008, literally 10 years ago, I was 308 pounds. That was the highest I'd ever been. I mean, I had a big old football helmet for a head, and I mean, the whole way down, you guys all told me. I mean, my coach right here knew as big as I was. I mean, I was a big boy coming down, and then to sit there at 208 and be like, yeah, I could do it. Yeah, I could cut down, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I actually weighed in at 197. It's my first time being that low since I was in high school, almost it seems like, and I couldn't recoup from it. It zapped me so bad that even afterwards, I was in my hotel room. I couldn't. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I just didn't have that. I didn't have that oomph, and then I fell asleep like around 7 o'clock that evening and woke up like scared that I was gonna miss my fight. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I still had that all in me. Like I couldn't come back from it. I didn't know if it was the electrolytes. I didn't know if I needed more to eat. I mean, I ate as soon as I got done with it. But as the King was saying, you do have that feeling where your body starts cramping up. Like I was feeling it above my kidneys. I just didn't realize that my body was telling me, "Whoa, bro, chill out." Hey, I did it the whole way of
That's a bad sign.
Of sweating it out. Just like let me see how far I can
ready
get
to
it.
shut down.
Yeah, and I that night I was feeling it. Got up that next morning and I still wasn't feeling it. I was like something's wrong. I couldn't get it. I was just trying to maybe I do some jumping jacks, get my blood flowing, get something going, but. Walking out to the cage, I just felt like, man, like everything just felt like kind of like slow motion. Like my feet were stuck in like, how it is when we at the beach, you walk through the surf.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it felt. Like
so
everything
heavy.
was just,
Yeah.
I just felt kind of like on cruise mode, but zombied out. Like I didn't feel it. And then they asked me if I was ready, and in my head, I'm like, holy shit. I don't feel good. All right, here it goes. And I just remember looking over, and for some reason, I just looked like, that guy's got some big ass calves. And then it hit me. It's like, oh, that's right. I remember and my mind was already off of it. It was just like scattered and fights going on. And I'm working. I'm like, man, I know I could pummel with this guy. I'm getting for the underhooks, have him up against the cage, and then just it hits me like, whoa! Like I just zapped me like, whoa! I stopped sweating, and I didn't know what happened. Just my body just started fatigue set in, and it was like about a minute and a half into it where I don't know what was really going on, but I got hit with the head kick on the side of my head, and after that it was like I just heard bells and whistles, and it was after that was survival mode. I was tired. I felt it, and it was a bad cut, and that is really serious though, because I'm 39 years old. I started this like literally 8 years ago in 2010. I started on up and comers. Back in old school, back over there at the tennis racket or ball place. What is that place called?
Yeah, the racquetball used to be.
It's on Sean Black's.
Yeah, out there.
They were
And
fighting roosters in the back.
Sometimes if you're lucky, you got in on those.
There's a
But
taco truck and everything.
it's been a long time, and like we're not young anymore, and it zapped me pretty bad, and I realized, hey, I gotta start taking care of myself, like in a whole, and that's what had got me dropping down to begin with from when I was 308 pounds. It's just to now, and like, whoa, like I dropped 100 pounds. I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize it when I was at the hospital. I mean, at the doctor's office doing my stuff. Whoa, dude, I didn't give myself credit for that. It didn't hit me until I got home. until I started realizing, God, man, I'm really out of it. What happened Monday? It was already Tuesday. I really didn't know what
So
happened.
how much weight
Monday.
did you drop?
Just for that fight or for
Yeah,
everything
just for this
else?
last one.
Just for
Just
that
for
last
this
fight, if I was 208, I dropped an extra, in 18 hours, 11, 12 pounds? 12 pounds?
11,
you know?
12 pounds. Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man.
And it was, and like I said, it was water. It wasn't like I was dieting or anything. It was just I just ran up in the sauna suit, just how we always do.
Was
wrestling
this is Jeremy's Luchao show, right?
No, this was CFC.
Up north.
Yeah, up north with Oscar Martinez promotion.
Well, I give you a lot of props for still going out there because, man, I follow Jeremy and these local promoters, and I know every show, especially these amateur shows, because the guys aren't getting paid to fight. Like that, half of the card usually falls off like a couple days before, and people are always begging Jeremy to get on there and this and that, and it happens every time. You know what I mean? Like the guys fall off right before, and this guy's stuck with a crowd of people, and he's trying to find fights. And I know that your last couple fights, like there was somebody who was giving you some flack online. It kind of upset me because you went out there and you've been in a bad position.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put your life on blast or anything, but I understand. You've been in a bad position, and you're really getting by in life, but you're still willing to get in there and fight. You know what I mean? Like you didn't get the best training camp. You didn't really get any training camp at all. And he could have just made the phone call too. You could have easily made the phone call to get out of the fight. You know what I did, and you didn't do that. So, I love you for getting in there and fighting, dude.
Yeah.
I do,
sure.
man. I do. But I do want to see you, like, heart to heart, like, man, if you're gonna keep doing this, take a good listen to what this guy's saying and watch some of his training videos. He's one of the guys, and I know you're a smart guy. Like, you got to put 110 into this game, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? Like, it is no joke getting in there, man. You know that.
Yeah,
don't have to
I
tell you
do.
that,
I do like right on because here in Selma, we used to. I mean, it was booming for a second here. There was a lot of gyms. I mean,
What's the deal with Selma martial arts,
I
man?
have no idea what's going on with Selma martial arts. It's just a lot of gym politics for some reason. Like everybody starts out real big, everybody gets going. Oh, we got gym here, we got gym there, and then it starts out for a good 3, 4, 5 months, and then just everybody falls off. And I had my gym open for a while, and the thing with mine was I wasn't trying to make money off of it. I was trying to bring in the youth that were the at-risk youth, that were just or
It's
even
hard if you're trying to fight.
or
too.
even if it was just like the kid that was getting picked on in school. I wanted that guy there to be around these around people that would normally intimidate him, but see that hey, when you're here at the gym, you need that guy there at the gym to work with you. Now, if he's not as good, well, you're just going to bring him up just to be a little bit better, but you're still moving. And that person who's a little bit better is going to learn, hey, I got to learn control now. Now I work with technique. Like when I roll with Tom, I always tell him, hey, are you ready to get choked out again? You're going to let me choke you out, So I know he knows what's coming. I know he knows it because it's, it's how you roll. He's rolled for numerous years, So if I'm setting up something, whatever I'm going to do, he's already anticipated it. He's been through it. Now, for the guy who's just learning it, what does he do to get that 3 steps ahead? And that's what you need to do. That's why I wanted to try to teach these kids in life that hey, you're going to be in a bad position here, but when you go out there, you're going to be in a bad position too because life doesn't care. Life
Is there no
doesn't beat you
jiu-jitsu
up.
school right now in Selma?
Right now in Selma, I think Bruce Tafoya is about the only guy left here, and
That's doing
he
something.
only had classes here about two nights, and he trains out there in Greeley that
Maybe
I
you
know
should
of.
be the guy that does it. Man.
I'm trying, man. It's
something
getting
going.
it's getting people
If
motivated.
not, you need to
in
get
there.
a sponsor from Uber and go over here to Fresno
It's-
and train with these
I-
guys.
I-
Or get your
if
butt
I
over to
could.
where I'm at.
Like I was just at the Audible trying to buy a car. You know what I mean? Like I mean, everything's working good. It's
Nah,
always
everything's coming together for you,
It's coming.
man.
I mean, slowly but surely, but
That's
we
good,
have
man.
to do.
As far as like your diet and everything, what are you doing now?
Man,
You look good, bro.
Thank you, appreciate that. I used to be on this diet where you don't eat anything, and when you're a fat guy, that kind of works. But you learn what works for you. And I'm on this it's like intermittent diet. I give myself 8 hours to eat. Now I can eat anything I want, but for the rest of the 16, I count them off. You know what I mean? Like you drink fluids. You don't want to dehydrate yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna eat anything, you eat yourself a nice breakfast, a hearty lunch, and if you know that 8 hours is gonna be up, eat something because you're gonna be hungry later. But go ahead and eat something, put something in your stomach because later on when you're sitting there and you're about ready to fall asleep, but you got 8 hours. So that 8 hours, your downtime, your body's just sitting there chilling, and it's worked for me. I've done the whole cutting carbs, done the whole cutting sodas, and I was gotta say I stopped drinking
a lot of sugar.
Yeah, but I did stop drinking beer like after work every day, and let me tell you that actually dropped about 20 pounds. useless calories in me. So if
What's
you
wrong
guys
with
were
beer?
good, hey, it's good, but don't overdo
not a
it.
probe.
Yeah, you know, I mean, don't be sitting back with 240s, you know, hurricane, you know.
Civilizations are alive today because of beer, bro.
Hey, I had to come up off that. You know, I feel better about it. I can eat ice cream, all the pizza I want, you know, but I give myself the 8 hours. But as soon as Henzo wakes me up in the morning, I take him out and we go for our run. You know, it's my dog. You guys all know me on Facebook. You guys check me up there, but he's the one who keeps me. He's the one who keeps me going. I mean, I have to take him out at night. I have to take him out in the morning. In the afternoon, if we're bored, we'll go out there. I mean, he likes to run.
Cardio?
I like to run. Yeah, and it's got me to where I need to keep myself busy in the mornings to go for the runs. And then if anybody hits me up, you know, hey, you know, what are you doing today? What are you doing? Come, let's go work out. Let's go hit the mitts or something like that. So I have people hitting me up all the time. You know, hey, let me work out with you. All right, cool. And that's what I've been doing for about, I guess, since I left KO was what, about almost 4 years ago. And then everything just started coming back together where I got that itch. And
So are you gonna fight again? And
Oh
when?
yeah. July 13th, rematching Joseph Gazzetta, I think his name was Gazzetta, the guy who kicked me in the nuts. So we're gonna run that back. We'll definitely get that back. And
Art, what do you got going on?
As of right now,
What's coming up for Art?
as of right now, I got nothing scheduled. But I mean,
Are you training constantly though?
that's all I
Always?
do. That's all I do. I mean, training is my lifestyle. I mean, I work out in the morning, I go to work all day, and I do one training in the evening.
What do you do for a living?
I work at an auditing firm, so we audit businesses in different. We're contracted by different cities in California, and our job is to just make sure that all the businesses are paying correctly on their license. So I got to check this place, make sure they're paying all right. You know what I'm saying? We'll attack. No, so yeah, I work in an auditing firm, which is cool. It's just an office, so I'm just chilling, and I get to let my body rest.
What a trip, like the other side of a fighter, people don't know. You know what I mean?
That's it,
I would
yeah.
never
A lot of
guess.
people-
Yeah,
guess that, bro.
I'm just in an office. I let my body rest. But you see, I did that by design. I knew that if I cannot see myself. I don't like feeling that I'm forced to fight. I never like that feeling. I want to fight because I want to. So I knew I was gonna get a job. I was like, I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna work. But what I chose was a set schedule. So my work is 8 to 4.
Have you
Monday to
always
Friday.
worked during your fighting career?
I tried doing the full-time thing for 2 years.
Yeah.
Hated it.
The full-time fighting thing?
Full-time fighting. I fought 4 times that year, and I didn't like it. I was like,
Something about work is good for the mind.
no, but you know what,
Too.
man? It's like, it's not like we're in the UFC. You know, like we're not making a lot of money.
No.
There's no way I'm gonna be like, I'm hurt, and it's like, hey, you want to fight? And it's like, I have to.
Yeah, well, you have to rely on that check.
And it's like, no, I'm not having fun anymore. So after I did it for 2 years, I told my head coach, and that's when I went on that run, right?
Yeah.
After my coach, I'm gonna get a job, dude. I go, I'm gonna get a job, and I'll
So you were working during that run? When you went
during
on the
that run,
7-foot run?
I would sacrifice sleep, but I would get up in the morning, I do a workout, I work all day, and then I do a martial art in the evening. So in the morning, it might be something for myself.
Some road work?
Whether it's road work, whether it's weights, whether it's yoga, whether it's cycling, whatever. Something I could do on my own. And then in the evening, I separate my martial arts. You know, one day might be boxing, next day be jiu-jitsu, but it's consistency. So for me, like I said, just because I'm getting older doesn't mean I have to let my body get old. So I said, I'm not gonna let my body just get old on me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna always keep working out. So it's already, so I'm always in shape. Now, when I have a fight, it's now time to get in fight shape, right? So, but what I'm saying is, as far as you know, what was the question? My day job.
I have a question for you.
Am I acting
Yeah.
punchy now? Am I acting like I'm punchy?
Talk about Fedor, man. How you got the name?
Oh yeah, that's what I want to take about your last episode.
Oh man.
About Fedor in your life.
Oh man, dude. Oh yeah. So I have a little French bulldog. He's 3 years old. I named him after my favorite heavyweight fighter of all time, Fedor
The
Emelianenko. So yeah, man. You know what? Like I'm an older guy. I'm 36. I've sacrificed.
What kind of dog is it again?
I've sacrificed girlfriend. It's a French bulldog.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed having. I've sacrificed marriage. I've sacrificed kids. I've sacrificed all this to do what I love, to do what I want. And I got to a point where like 3 years ago, I was like, man, I'm getting like those fatherly instincts where it's like I want something to love,
Yeah.
like something like to come home to. So I said, I'm not gonna like jump on anything. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna give me a dog.
I'm not getting any old poodle.
Yeah, but I said, but I also knew that with my busy lifestyle of working out, is I needed a dog that's a lap dog, a chill dog. I don't need a dog with a lot of energy. So after I did some research, I saw that the French Bulldogs were perfect home dogs. They just need like 15 minutes a day. My little dog's a little athlete though. I make sure I work him out all the time. But yeah, man, I just want something loving, dude. I must have watched 100 hours of Dog Whisper because I wanted that dog to be cool. You meet my dog, he's awesome. He's well trained, and I want it to be to where I can take him anywhere, and he doesn't feel like a burden. So I trained him. He's the best dog ever, and I got my fix of something to love.
There you go. You've never been married?
Nope, haven't been married.
What's
no
the
kids.
longest relationship you've been in?
Longest, I'm gonna
MMA.
I know. I'm married to MMA. No, my longest relationship.
I'm married to
was,
getting punched.
yeah, my long relationship was 5 years. 5 years. My high school sweetheart.
And that was enough to teach you the life lesson.
Yeah. Nah, but that was before turning pro. But other than that, relationships here and there, for a few years. But yeah, it's just at the end of the day, it's.
So you live alone, you and the dog?
Me and my dog.
That's a good way to live, bro.
But you know what, man? It's just like I like doing what I want.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like I like doing what I want. Like I want to get up in the morning and go work out.
As a
I
fighter
work
too,
out.
it's really difficult, man.
Yeah.
To have a relationship and be able to, because a relationship, relationships are great. They are. Like, I'm married, I love my wife to death, you know what I mean? But when I was fighting, like, I didn't even want a girlfriend or anything, you know what I mean? I felt like I had to put all that time into it, you know what I mean?
It's a selfish sport.
It is a selfish
It's
sport.
a selfish sport, and to be really good, you have to put in that work. Like, dude, even to this day, I'm not training for a fight, and that's what we're talking about. You asked me what my next fight was. Yeah, I'm not training for a fight, but like on Saturdays, I'll meet with my jiu-jitsu coach, and we just drill for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's the
best.
one. It's the best, but to other people, it's boring, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, to me, it's like I need to always get the gap closer. I want, I got to make sure that if I face this awesome grappler,
Are you
I'm
still
not
with
lost.
Billy and those guys?
Nah.
Do they still train? Billy and George and them? Are they still
You know
on the
what?
deal, or
George doesn't train. George doesn't train. And Billy, he's starting to train again. So I mean,
Talk about some guys who went through some wars. Good Lord. Huh?
Oh yeah, man, those guys were awesome. Well, Billy was the reason I moved back to Fresno.
Those were great training partners, I bet.
Oh yeah, well you have to remember, I started training in Fresno in 2001. So in 2001, I met Billy, I met George, Cole had just started fighting.
Cole Escobedo?
Yeah, and I met all those guys at the gym, and then we started. They were fighting. I knew I wanted to get there eventually.
Yeah.
And then so I started with them, and then life happens. I moved away, and then everything came full circle, and I came back to PMA in 2010. So I came back to where I started.
Yeah.
Which was, blessings
Was Ted
to.
Stobie? Did you work with Ted Stobie at all? Was he
No,
there?
I rolled with them maybe once or twice, but mostly I would roll with all the the night class, whoever was in the night class, but like Matt Smith, man, he's the one.
Matt Smith was my coach for a long time. Yeah.
Matt Smith's the one that gave me my start.
I give a lot of credit to those guys.
Yeah.
A lot of credit to those guys.
Yeah, but
How we doing, brother? We good?
We got 3 minutes.
You got any sponsors or anybody you want to throw a shout out to, brother?
I just want to thank my team, man. My team who sacrificed their time to make sure that they can work with me because I do have a job. So just want to say thanks to my team, everybody at Pacific Martial Arts, everybody at Bullpen Boxing, everybody at Malapit, Sasira Papa. I always say that wrong.
Props to
USA
Malapit.
Muay Thai, Malapit.
Malapit.
Yeah, and
Real
then
deal.
also to my strength and conditioning coach, P. Sierra, and then I know I'm missing somebody. Stephen Abbas at his Abbas Wrestling Flow. So I just try to work with the coaches that are great at their discipline, and they're helping me, close that gap to get better and better.
Guys, I'd like to say one thing real quick. We lost 2 great people this last week. Sensei Michael Tan, he was a well-known instructor around the Central Valley. He passed away this last week in his sleep. It's an unfortunate loss. But one thing I really wanted to touch on was, I'm sure everybody heard about the loss of Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Anthony or anything like that, but I do know, I followed him just like anybody else on TV. But he was a martial artist, and just him being a martial artist, we know, like, if you're a martial artist, like, we kind of have like a brotherhood, you know what I mean? He was a jiu-jitsu guy, and so I feel like he's kind of in our little brotherhood. And it's just kind of a trip, man. This happens a lot, seems like, with older men. And you just never know what someone's going through, man. And anytime you got a chance to give somebody a smile or a hug, you just never know what's going on with someone's life, man. So I just want to say that, like, when you're out there going through your day, man, give a smile and a hug to anybody you can, man.
Yeah.
And,
And it is, because right now in the world, not just here in the States, but all over the world, TV, whatever, all we see is darkness. You know, the ones that are terrorizing, wear dark. You know, the evil stuff we see is dark. You know, and I was always taught, you know what, man, why don't we market the light? Let there be light, man. Let there be light. Show somebody, I mean, we're not here to judge. We don't have that power to, we can, but we don't actually have that power. We don't have that value that really matters, because we're not the one at the end of the day that has to be answered to. You know, so just try to, you know, everybody touch a friend. Say, hey, how much, you know, whether you're maybe not seeing eye to eye at a time or something like that, but, you know, life's short, you know, and you got to respect your fellow man. And just be the opposite. Extend that gratitude, that you have that peace of mind when you wake up the next day, you got that light. Make the best of it. Each one teach one.
Yep. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Right on.
I really appreciate it. Well, we really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Archie. Thank you, sir, for helping us out on the podcast.
Spike and rail.
Spike and rail, guys. You want to
Shout
get
out to
that?
you guys.
You want to get that juicy ribeye or that whiskey tenderloin?
Yeah.
Get a little salad, whatever you want. It's all good. Take
We'll
them
see
both.
you guys next week. Next week, are we going to another day, or are we going to go ahead and be back on Wednesday?
We're in the process of possibly doing a panel. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah,
We got some exciting guests coming up,
we got
guys.
some exciting guests coming up. But what we're going to do is try to have like a round table. We got a lot of big fights coming in, so we're going to get other friends of media and try to get their views on upcoming fights and some other ideas what you guys want to really hear, you know, from us. And inboxes at MMA Fight Pass, some topics you want to hear, or actually guests that you want to come in, or, you know, whatever you got to do, whether it's a wrestling club, you got jiu-jitsu tournament coming up, whatever, something that has something to do with some kind of combat sports. That's what we're here for, man, to use our voice to get the word out there to reach as many people as we can. That's a wrap. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you, people.
Good show, guys.
Good job.
Awesome, dude.